Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Vibrant You. In today's episode, we are getting into why your blood work may not be enough. We're going to talk about conventional blood work and lab testing versus more modern, state-of-the-art functional lab testing for unlocking optimal health. We're going to shed some light on the limitations of conventional blood work and discuss the vital role that functional lab testing plays in providing a more comprehensive understanding of your health and getting real solutions to your symptoms in the long term. So let's get started. So conventional blood work has long been a cornerstone of medical diagnosis, providing, of course, valuable insights into our overall health. It measures important markers like cholesterol levels and blood cell counts and hormone levels and some nutrient deficiencies, which helps us to identify potential issues going on in our body. However, it's important for us to recognize that blood work has its limitations. Why is it that conventional blood work often isn't enough? When I was going through all of my health issues, I went from doctor to doctor and specialist to specialist and this test and that test and exam for a year and basically lived in hospital. And I kept hearing again and again and again, your blood work came back normal. We can't find anything wrong with you. And my blood work was coming back normal, and yet I was having seizures on almost a daily basis. And this is what I kept hearing from my doctor when I was facing those health issues, and something that I hear my clients often hear before coming to me and to the functional medicine side of healthcare seeking answers. And the truth is that while blood work can be helpful to a degree, and in some cases very helpful, but often it simply isn't enough. So let's get into why. The way I see it, there's 5 main limitations to blood work. So number 1, the first thing is that one thing that's overlooked and why blood work really isn't always enough to show what's actually going on in our bodies is that it doesn't show what's going on at a tissue or organ or cellular level. It's really just showing us what's floating around in our blood at that particular time of a blood draw. For example, it may show how much calcium or how much vitamin B12 is floating around in your blood, but not actually how much is in your cells. How much your cells are actually able to absorb and to use and to uptake those nutrients and to metabolize them, which is really what our body needs to be able to function optimally. We need this level of nutrition at our cellular and tissue and organ level. So oftentimes in the blood, everything looks normal, but at a tissue or organ or cellular level, it simply isn't. And this is why so many people are told that everything is fine or everything looks normal in their blood work, even though they don't feel that way and they're facing all these symptoms and wondering what the heck's wrong with them. So limitation of blood work number 2 is that our blood is what we call a homeostatic fluid, meaning its job is to remain in balance at all times. And in order to maintain balance in a blood level, our body will gladly steal from every other part of the body necessary to keep blood levels balanced. So for example, it will pull calcium from our bones, which years later leads to osteoporosis, to maintain the pH of our blood. If we are too acidic, if our body isn't creating too much of an acidic environment, it will pull that calcium to basically buffer the blood, right? To alkalize the blood, as that mineral has an alkalizing effect. It's pulling it from our bones though, which is making our bones more porous and weak. Another example is our body will gladly pull, essential fatty acids from our organs or even our eyes in order to maintain a balance of fatty acids in our blood level. Meanwhile, leading to oxidative stress on the organs and damaging our eyes and leading to things like, I just took my grandma in the other day. I'm here in Canada and I took her in for an optometrist appointment, and they said that she's got macular degeneration, and they're recommending omegas, of course, because of course if her body is deficient in omegas and fatty acids, it's going to pull that from her eyes, which is a main place in the body where we hold on to those tissues where it's needed. So many reasons for this. So that's because the condition or the imbalance in the body hasn't manifested so far as to throw off our blood yet. So in many cases, it can take decades for our blood to become imbalanced. And by that time, we typically get a diagnosis and leads to long-term damage in the body. So limitation of blood work number 3. So another limitation is that if something is bad enough to show that something's out of balance in your blood, is that conventional ranges of what's considered normal quote unquote normal or quote unquote in range isn't what's actually considered optimal ranges. So the range that we see on conventional blood work is simply too wide. And as a functional practitioner, we have different ranges that are considered optimal for you based on your body type, your age, your sex, and so on. So for example, one that I see often in my practice is people go for their annual checkup and they go get, comprehensive blood work and they check their thyroid and these types of things. And a really common one is that people say I ask them, well, have you had your thyroid levels checked when they're facing issues with weight gain and metabolism and next level fatigue? And, this is often an area that we'll look is thyroid health. I say, have you had your thyroid levels checked? And they come back with, they often don't know what they got tested, but they'll send me their blood work. And most often, doctors will only check for TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which isn't actually a comprehensive picture of your thyroid at all. It's like one piece of the puzzle. Let's say that their thyroid levels, their TSH comes back as 3. Right? The doctor says, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Thyroid's good. It doesn't show as an imbalance in their thyroid range. It says in range, normal. So according to conventional blood work, the reference range for thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, the reference range is 0.5 to 5.0 MIU per liter. Okay, so 0.5 to 5. That is not what's optimal. What's optimal and what I like my clients to have is, a range of 0.5 to 2 or maybe 2.5 depending on age. Conventional medicine says that TSH up to 5 is fine, and it's simply not. A 3 is not okay. It means that you're already well on your way to thyroid metabolism issues and hypothyroidism. And this is why, your hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis is saying that your body needs to produce more TSH because you're not converting enough of the active T3 inside of the cell. So many doctors, unfortunately, they have this wait and see approach where, let's say you go for your annual every year, your levels are increasing each year. Your TSH is going up every single year, little by little, for 5 years, and at your annual checkup and blood work. And your symptoms are still overlooked because your blood work looks quote unquote normal, right? Your fatigue, your weight gain, your low energy, these types of things. It looks normal. So eventually they say that your undiagnosed fatigue must just be all in your head and you should just try to stress less and try to get more sleep. But naturally 1 year, it finally tips out of the reference range and you're given a formal diagnosis of hypothyroidism and a lifelong subscription to Big Pharma. This is what we want to avoid. And when I work with clients, I'm looking at their blood work, even conventional blood work, from a functional perspective, meaning not just what's in reference range, meaning you don't already have so much damage where you get a diagnosed disease and a medical prescription, but also what is optimal? Where should our markers be for us to experience vitality and longevity and vibrant health and vibrant energy and vibrant mood? That's what we want to be looking at. So number 4, while blood work is valuable for detecting certain conditions and assessing general health, it often falls short when it comes to capturing the full picture, the whole body, the whole you. So blood tests typically measure static values, but they're not really revealing the underlying imbalances or the functional disruptions in the body. It may explain the what is imbalanced to a degree, but never the why, never the context as to, well, why is your TSH getting higher and higher every year, moving towards hypothyroidism? Your blood work won't tell you why and what to do to rebalance the body versus just suppress the symptoms with a thyroid pill the rest of your life. And then finally, the 5th limitation of blood work is that blood work often serves as a snapshot, providing information about a specific moment in time when you had your blood drawn. However, our health is dynamic and it's complex and it's influenced by so many different factors. So our blood chemistry changes literally moment to moment, minute to minute. And elevated or decreased markers can, yes, mean something significant if every time you get your blood work done, you're noticing something elevated or decreased. However, I have had clients come to me freaking out, why is this level so high? Why is this out of range? And we were able to identify that it's very likely simply she was dehydrated on the day that she, got her blood work done. So these are the 5 main limitations of conventional blood work. As much as I love blood work and we can get so much value out of it, it simply isn't a comprehensive picture into our overall health and a bigger picture. So what is the solution? So to understand our symptoms, especially, when blood work is normal or just showing minor imbalances. We really have to zoom out from the specific details of blood work and see the bigger picture. We need comprehensive testing that looks at the health from a deeper level, from an organ and tissue and cellular level, a comprehensive level that looks into all the different parts of you and how your systems work together versus just a screenshot or a snapshot in time. This is done through what we call subclinical or functional lab testing, which is a completely different form of healthcare that we unfortunately don't have access to at your general practitioner, to really zoom out and see how the body's functioning overall at a whole and deeper level. So what is this functional lab testing? So while of course I value and look at and sometimes even use conventional blood work in my practice, and I look at it from a more optimal and more functional perspective, the main form of testing that I use with my clients is called functional testing. Feeling healthy and feeling whole and vibrant in your body really starts with understanding exactly what's going on inside of your body. And functional lab testing really gives us those answers. It helps to take out the guesswork behind mystery symptoms like low energy or brain fog or poor sleep, maybe anxiety or bloating, digestive issues, painful periods, these types of things. And this is really one of the most comprehensive forms of testing and one of the most valuable tools in an integrative approach to health. It's how we get to the root cause behind your symptoms so that you can restore your health from the inside out. So this functional lab testing focuses on evaluating how different systems in the body are functioning and how they're interacting with each other. It helps us to identify the subtle imbalances that may in time lead to chronic conditions to affect our overall well-being. So it allows us to see, why is our thyroid, maybe our TSH, increasing year by year? Why is that? What are the other hormones involved? How's your gut health? Is there any heavy metals, that are blocking your body's absorption of iodine, which is essential for the healthy functioning of thyroid? So in this type of testing, we use so much more than just blood. We use different biological substances like saliva testing, especially for hormones. We get the most accurate picture of hormones with a saliva test. We may do urine tests for something like an organic acids test that we look at the metabolites of so many different gut-based pathogens and metabolic markers and detoxifying markers, these types of things. For most gut-based issues, we'll work with a stool test to get a really comprehensive picture of your overall gut microbiome and how your healthy levels of bacteria are, how if there's any pathogens that might be the underlying cause behind your digestive issues. And we also work with something called hair tissue, which is a basic hair pluck that helps us give a really clear snapshot of what's happening at a metabolic, at a heavy metal and electrolyte level. So this is what reveals these underlying imbalances, from deficiencies to pathogens to toxic exposures, these types of things that are contributing to your symptoms, so that we can really transform those symptoms into long-term solutions and protocols to rebalance the body at an underlying root cause level. I am not allowed to say curing or treating or preventing disease, and that's not what this podcast is about. I'm not a medical doctor and I don't claim to treat or cure or prevent disease. But the cool thing is that if we know what the imbalances are in the body, if we can understand what is the underlying root cause imbalance behind your health issues, if we can rebalance that imbalance, then there's no symptoms. Do we call it curing? No, we can't legally, but your symptoms may naturally go away on their own. This type of testing, it goes far beyond conventional blood work to really examine those underlying mechanisms and imbalances that are contributing to those health issues, and that's often missed by conventional blood work alone. Functional lab testing really enables us a more personalized and targeted approach to healthcare by identifying those imbalances and dysfunctions and really creating a personalized wellness plan to address those root causes of your health issues rather than just managing symptoms. And this approach often leads to a far more effective and comprehensive and sustainable and validating approach for clients. People that have been struggling with low energy or weight gain or digestive issues or painful periods, and they keep going to their doctor like something's wrong. And intuitively, you just know that something's off in your body. And I just hear too many times, people going to their GP and running the basic conventional labs and coming back with, well, everything's normal, just try to get some rest. It must all be in your head. So it's really validating for people when they do this type of testing to see, oh, of course you're having significant bloating every day. You have candida and you have, a yeast overgrowth in your intestines and you have H. pylori. Of course you have acid reflux versus just here's some Tums, here's a, pill to kind of suppress the symptoms. So it's so validating and so empowering for people. So I'll share real quick some of the key functional lab tests that I work with in my practice. I work with over 35 different functional lab tests beyond conventional blood work, but here's some of my favorites and just the top 3 that I tend to use with clients. So the first one is called the GI map test. And this is it's a stool-based test, and it's an entire comprehensive snapshot of your entire gut microbiome. I use this lab often for people with digestive issues. If you're experiencing bloating or gas or constipation or loose stools or acid reflux or anything to do with your gut microbiome, this is going to be our number 1 test. So that's a great one. The second one that I often use is called the comprehensive hormone test, which evaluates not only hormone levels like a conventional blood work would do, but also their metabolites and ratios. So it's a far more comprehensive understanding of hormonal imbalance, which conventional blood work may not capture. And in addition to that, it checks for all kinds of things, not just, let's say, sex hormones if you're having period pain or issues with your menstrual cycle, but it also tests your thyroid at a comprehensive level and your stress hormones and how your stress hormones may be the cause behind your period pain. As of course, our stress hormones and cortisol steals the raw things that your body needs to produce thyroid hormones and sex hormones. So many different things inside of that test that I really love. And I think the third one I'll share is called the HTMA test, which is a hair tissue mineral analysis test. It's a basic hair pluck. We send in your hair and we get a 30-day snapshot. So not just a moment in time, quick, what's happening in your body right here and right now, but what has been collectively happening in your body over the last 30 days, right? Because our hair grows slowly, right? It's not just this homeostatic fluid of blood that shows what's happening right now, but what's going on at a more comprehensive level. This is the lab that I call upon for anybody that comes in with, poor energy levels or mood-based issues, or they're feeling a lot of anxiety and stress, these types of things. And this hair pluck, it will check both heavy metals to see how that might be influencing their nervous system, their mood, their energy, their neurochemistry, as well as mineral ratios, which allows us to detect, your adrenal status and your metabolism, your body's ability to detoxify, how much stress your body's under. And that really empowers us to create long-term solutions and a personalized wellness plan with nutrition and supplement protocols and stress reduction techniques and, an exercise plan, all of these things customized to you so you can really empower yourself in this path to both healing and optimizing your health, stepping into greater vitality and vibrant well-being on all levels. So that's what I wanted to share with you for today. This is why your blood work isn't enough, conventional versus functional lab testing for unlocking optimal health. I hope this was helpful in helping you understand where to really look. Go to your GP when we need the basics, right? I always say to people, if you're having a heart attack, if you are experiencing a broken leg, don't go to your naturopath, don't go to your integrative health practitioner, go to your doctor. However, if you're not finding success with the medical route and you're just getting these answers of everything's fine when it's clearly not, it may be time to explore more functional lab testing to take out the guesswork behind your health mystery symptoms and health issues and to start to rebalance the body at a root cause level while maybe also working with your doctor for what your doctor is able to provide. That's what I want to share for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to learn more about labs and functional lab testing, I invite you to visit my website, bindystables.com/labs, and you're going to get some insights on the difference between conventional and functional lab testing and some of the key labs that I offer in my practice. then send me a DM on Instagram at Bindi Stables. And I'd love to hear what areas of your health you'd love support on. And let's have a chat. I'll give you a free, quick mini assessment to see how I might be able to help you and what the next steps may be in your health and optimization journey. So would love to hear from you. That's all for today. Take care, and I'll see you back here real soon.